Okay, good morning, everybody. I show 0700. My name is Paul Carlos, Plant Section Chief Trainee for Incident Management Team 1. This is the operational briefing for the west zone of the Dixie incident for September 9th, 2021. If I can get everybody to turn down their phones, take any sidebar conversations outside of the briefing area, I'd appreciate it. We'll start off with Night Ops Situational Update.
Good morning, Magnus Johnson, Incident Management Team 1, Night Operations. Starting off from Branch 9, they still continue to have peat moss burning and problems, but they've got sprinklers on it. They're working on that. If we slide on up to the Shasta sector in Branch 13, Branch 13 about 1600 yesterday, fire stood up and made a big push out towards the Hat Creek Rim. Everybody knows the fuels are dry. Everybody knows everything's in alignment to get with it. Well, it started to get with it yesterday. It got with it so much that it threw a spot 5.3 miles out in front of itself. There's multiple spots out there. The drones, everybody else, and the ground resources got after those things, but that thing is making a progression to the northeast. We evacuated Old Station, Hat Creek, all that in there as a precautionary. We have closed 44 from the 89 back to the 821 because that's the direction that that thing would want to go. Division Quebec had it jumped up over here, went for 38, 39 acres. They've got line on that. They got dozer line around it. They're going to work it. You people that are going out there today are going to have to get right on that thing. It's going to and stay after it. Today's a transition day. The weather guy will go over that. I won't burst his bubble. Romeo was good. Sierra was good. Tango was good. Westwood sector, like I say, calls for service. Janesville branch, fine. They did have something down in the 30,000 acre area here. More than likely a stump way up in. Junction Group, successful yesterday. They put, the crews got in there and cut line from the top of the escarpment right down to the dozer line on the 395. So trying to lock off that north end so we don't have any lateral movement up through the top there. In a report.
Management objectives have not changed, but there has been a minor change to the control objectives. So your control objectives are keep the fire north of Grizzly Ridge and Lake Davis, keep the fire south of Harvey Valley Road, keep the fire east of Ponderosa Way and within established control lines, and keep the fire west of Highway 395 while ensuring infrastructure defense in the communities of Janesville and Milford. Weather.
Morning, Ben Bardas, IMET. So as just alluded to by NetOps, I need everybody to open their IAP and turn to page 4, please. So you'll notice that today is a critical weather day. It looks nice now, but in about 8 hours, it's gonna not be very nice when it comes to fire weather. We've got a cold front that's gonna be pushing through, coming down out of the Pacific Northwest and reaching down into Northern California. What that means for us is that we're gonna see a weather shift starting at midday today. So these light terrain driven winds that we're gonna have this morning, you're gonna start to see them pick up out of the southwest, 5 to 10, gusts to 15 miles per hour. That's gonna get down into valleys with this front. So those terrain driven winds are gonna just get overpowered by an incoming frontal system. With that, we have a few big impacts going forward as this front approaches this afternoon, into tonight, and into tomorrow morning. So this afternoon, we can expect to start to have the possibility of isolated thunderstorms at around 2 p.m. west of the fire. Those chances are going to increase as we go through the evening and into the overnight hours, with the brunt of our weather between about 2 and 5 a.m. Weather will linger as far as thunderstorms go until about 7 a.m. These storms are going to be fast moving. There's going to be a lot of potential with those fast moving storms for dry lightning because they're not going to be there won't be enough time for them to drop precip as they move through, and gusty outflow winds as strong as 45 miles per hour. I will be on the radar on the satellite today watching that, calling it as I see it. If you see something happening out there, please radio in if I haven't called it out already, but I will be watching for that today. So that's the first threat, are thunderstorms overnight tonight. The second threat are going to be winds with this front. As this front pushes through tonight, we can expect an increase of winds to about 40 miles per hour or so, starting at around 5 a.m. So these winds are just going to start ramping up this afternoon out of the southwest, and they're not going to quit. So know that when you're out there, is that as the sun sets and the winds have started to settle down like they have the past few days, that's not going to happen today. They're just going to keep getting stronger as the night progresses. And that's going to go until tomorrow morning and break around midday. We'll start to taper off tomorrow. So I say that now, even though that's after, I'll be here tomorrow morning briefing. As I'm briefing tomorrow, we'll be in the middle of the event, which is why I'm briefing all the way into tomorrow now. So know that as you go through the night and into tomorrow morning, we're going to have about a good 24, 36 hours worth of significant weather that we're all going to have to just keep our head on a swivel and keep cognizant of as we're out there on the line. So just really be safe with that. And like I said, I will be on it these next 36 hours. If you're seeing something that doesn't look quite right or isn't quite what I have in the forecast, call it in and I'll get you an update. That's all I've got. Thank you.
Fire behavior.
Good morning, Don Watt with Fire Behavior. So you heard from the IMET, we have a very dynamic day today. It's going to start out kind of like yesterday, light winds, sunshine, but we will see that fire increase. We're already starting seeing the smoke clearing out of those valleys. It will increase intensity. As that storm system moves in, expect vertical growth of any kind of developing fire. That can be the problem, is as we get that vertical growth with winds coming in, our spotting distance will increase dramatically. You can expect early in the morning short-range spotting. Going into this evening, long-range spotting, mile plus, 2 miles plus. Big issue in some of these areas, if we get into that Hat Creek drainage and it continues to move west, that continues that threat for Old Station. The fire wants to go to the northeast, that southwest push, but there are a couple features in there that will change that wind to more of a southerly direction and want to push it north. It will propagate with spotting. So just be aware out there today that make sure you look in the green areas, make sure you know what the weather's doing. If you start seeing builds, start making sure you have plans. Big thing today will be safety. We have changing weather throughout the day. So where most people see that relax in the evening and they figure the fire's going to calm down, that's when it's going to start increasing. So make sure people know where they're at, know how to get places, have escape routes, have safety zones built in for your plan. If the fire does get across Highway 44 up into the flats on the escarpment, or on the flats of the Hat Creek rim, that wind will surface tonight. It will move rapidly. You can have extreme rates of spread, increased spotting. So just be aware if it gets on top there on those flats, those winds will surface and be strong. It also increased spotting in the branch 16 area. If you're still working down here, they have good mop-up going down there, but any flare-ups interior will have that chance. They're going to see strong winds down there today. It has that chance to spot a great distance and then push through that escarpment and down into the valley. So really the biggest thing is pay attention to the weather day, pay attention to the fire behavior day, and be cognizant of where you're at and have your plan understood for the entire day. Make it a safe shift.
Operational work assignments, operations.
Good morning, Mike Wink Operations. So start here in Branch 9, continue to have tactical patrol in there. There's still a lot of peat moss, there's log decks, there's things burning in there. Not yesterday, but the last couple days, they certainly had activity of multiple acres just outside the fire's line or just right next to the perimeter. So still have to be those resources in here, keeping your head on a swivel, looking for that stuff, listening for those calls of service, all in this Branch 9 area. As we get up here into Branch 13, that is our number one priority today. That's where we have the potential for the most fire growth and the most uncontrolled fire's edge. There in Branch 13, we got a lot of resources in there. You just heard the fire behavior and the incident meteorologist talk about very, very concerning conditions over the next day and a half. Okay, you should be concerned. Make sure that you know your leadership here out on the line has a good plan. They need to have accountability for where you are. You guys, please remember to make sure that you tell them where you are, okay? It's a two-way thing, all right? Make sure they know where you are. They're going to know where you are. We need to have accountability. If we have that rapid fire growth or intensity in there, you folks on that slower moving equipment, massacators, feller bunchers, some specialized equipment like that, make sure you have reflex time built into in the area where you're working. If you need to get to that safety zone, you have good communications, you have somebody watching out for you, you know that your leader knows exactly where you are and vice versa. That's critical. And this morning, things are going to be calm. You're going to get out there. You're going to do your shift change. You're going to have a good plan. Some folks are going to be going right on the fire's edge out of the park, anchor, flank, and hold, right? Some folks are going to be looking for additional opportunities to get over on Rail Canyon. Some of you are going to be looking at contingency line up here on the north side of 44. That's all going to be good for the first several hours of the day. This afternoon, by 2, 3 o'clock, just the normal heating of the day, let alone the weather pattern that's coming in, is going to bring fire spread to here that there's likely nothing that's going to be done about that, okay? Air Attack gave good intel yesterday. Make sure you're scanning air-to-ground command, air-to-ground TAC, every resource, every skidder, every feller buncher, every other resource, dozer, water tender, everybody boots on the ground, so you hear what Air Attack has to say. You know what? You're a leader of you. Make sure that you know what the plan is and you know to keep yourself safe, and you're scanning all those channels, okay? So if it does go to the north east like it's predicted, and or some of the modeling shows that could be terrain-driven winds if we have downdrafts, that could bring it down towards this Old Station area. Like you just said, Old Station proper, that general area has now gone into a mandatory evacuation order. Hat Creek, the community up here, we're talking about Hat Creek being evacuated. That's in Old Station, not the community of Hat Creek. The community of Hat Creek is further out this way. They're not in the evacuation order. It's just the Hat Creek itself area. They're in Branch 13. So make sure you have a plan. Get out of the way. If it stands up and runs, quarter mile spotting, very aggressive of your observed yesterday. A 5 mile spot yesterday. If you're out here doing contingency line, make sure you're watching, make sure you're listening to Air Attack. If it runs, get out of the way. Be safe. Nothing is worth anybody's safety, okay? Nobody gets hurt. Make sure you have a plan. Okay, as we're coming around here into Branch 16, a lot of the guard folks showed up yesterday. Thank you very much. Got a lot more boots on the ground. We need to continue to hold this. We know this is going to be a real challenge. Could have fire growth in here today. We expect that. We need to, with those boots on the ground here in Branch 16, Lassen sector, please, please, please make sure that you get in there, be aggressive. We got the fire train in there giving extra water for shorter water tender turnarounds. Get in there and hold this piece, all right? As we come down here in the Westwood sector, patrolling calls for service on the highway corridor here back into Susanville, down here in the Janesville branch. We've got one crew, firefighter one-hand crew down here assisting on the escarpment today to strengthen that line and make sure we get that locked in as we're working with our partners to the east zone, okay? And we're going to be up here doing mop-up to 150 feet plus from the Walker burn scar all the way to the escarpment to get this piece with more depth and more confidence that we're not going to have something come in here and get to our containment lines. We've done a really aggressive job trying to keep the fire south of Janesville, south of Milford, and get this piece chopped off. And so we need to work really hard on that today. Make sure you're listening to command just in case we have some extreme activity up here in case you need to go help. So a lot of you in your briefing this morning with your IAP, you may have got a puzzle piece, okay? If you got a puzzle piece, don't lose it. Sometimes doors open, sometimes doors closed. Your piece is closing the door to containment on this. Every smoke you put out, every gallon of water you deliver to the fire line, every foot of dozer line you put in out there, either primary, secondary, contingency, or emergency, is getting us closer to getting this thing locked in, okay? We're getting back to the map. We're getting this piece down here in Janesville branch taken care of. We've got Branch 16. We've got Branch 13. We expect a lot of fire growth up there. Make sure, like I said, don't get ready. Be ready. Have a safe shift.
Sector, branch, and divisional roll call resources.
Good morning, Jordan Weber, Resource Unit Leader, CAL FIRE Incident Management Team 1. If you'll join me on page 2 of your IAP as we have one change. When you hear your name, please stand, starting with the Shasta Sector. Fields. Here. Branch 9, Smith. Here. Division Juliet, this is our one change. Bryant. Here. Branch 13, Wills. Here. Divisions November and Papa are briefing in the field. Shasta Contingency, Turman. For the Lassen Sector, Prather. Branch 16, Felix. Trainee, Lang. Division Quebec, Rivers. Division Romeo, Swope. Division Sierra, Shalhoub. Lassen Contingency, Cooper. For the Westwood Sector, Irma Garrett. Westwood Group, Switchard. Janesville Branch, Pack. Milford Group, Grendal. Junction, Frederick. Lassen Fire Suppression Repair, Hauser. Thanks. Have a safe day.
Air operations.
Good morning, everyone. Thomas Smith, Deputy Air Ops, Team 1. I just wanted to give you guys a few numbers to validate and quantify all the work you guys have been doing. Week 3, Battle Creek Heli Base was stood up, and since then, in support of you guys, we've done 5.5 million gallons of water out of Battle Creek and 750,000 gallons of retardant. So that's a direct reflection to all the work you guys are doing on the ground. For today's lineup, we'll have early up air attack, ASM, and tankers. For rotor wing out of both helibases, we'll have 14 Type 1s, 3 Type 2s, 5 Type 3s, and we'll still have Milford MRB stood up, and we're planning on standing one more MRB up in Old Station today. With that, we'll have one hoist helicopter 841 available for you. Make it a safe shift. Continue to monitor air to ground, TAC, and command.
Communications.
Good morning, Prince Wilkerson, COML trainee. Today there will be no new clones or changes to the comp plan. Be sure that you check your IAP today. The West Zone 205 is on page 40 and 41. For the East Zone, it's going to be on page 42. Make sure that your 205 matches your 204 as far as the line assignment you have and the frequencies being used. Again, if you're experiencing any type of interference as far as communications, be sure you follow the chain of command and make sure the information is getting back to communications. With that being said, have a safe day.
Medical.
Good morning, Race Wickless, Medical Unit Leader. Today your 206 can be found on page 44. Just a reminder, any in-camp medical needs, supplies, or anybody that needs a COVID test, make your way over to CalMat located to your left. They've got doctors, PAs, nurses, and EMTs there to assist you. If you go down to box 6, you'll have the ambulance staging locations for the day. We do not have a REMS today, but we do have that 24-hour hoist. And we have line medics in branch 13 and 16. Review box 8 for line emergency procedures. Thank you for picking up those laminated cards that we've been putting out back by the IAPs every day. You guys continue to take them, so we'll continue to make them. Thank you and have a safe shift.
Safety.
Good morning, everybody. Brad Niven, Safety Officer with Team 1. So we've heard FBAN, we've heard the IMET, we've heard operations. I just want to remind everybody that over the last 57 days of this fire, every single time that we've talked about this, the critical fire weather coming, the potential for extreme fire behavior, it's happened. Today's not going to be any different. Expect it to happen because it's going to happen. Don't get in the way of it. Think smart. Have a good plan. We talk about being safe out there. I want to ask everybody, be smart in your operations. Thank you.
Information.
Good morning, Mitch Matlow, Public Information Officer, CAL FIRE IMT1. Please join me on page 54 of your IAP for the information update. The fire is currently at 927,320 acres, 59% containment. There are 4,846 people working on this fire. If you have media show up in your area of the fire, please call the information number. We'll get a PIO out to assist you. If you have social media that you want to post, please remember to adhere to the CAL FIRE and federal social media policies. If you have pictures or videos, please run them through us so we can vet them first. Mail and lost and found are still available up in the front trailer. We've got a lot of packages and a lot of items being discovered that you've lost, so please come and see us. That end of report. Have a safe shift.
Training specialist.
Good morning, Shane Galvez, training specialist, Incident Management Team 1. For the 60 individuals that are trainees that have not checked in yet, you have until Friday at 11 to check in. For the 110 trainees that have checked in, you have until Saturday at 11 to check out. Please refer to page 58 for your training message for the documents that the trainers will need to fill out, and the documents the trainees will need to bring with them for closeout. My contact information is at the bottom of the page. Thank you.
Final comments, Unified IC.
Good morning, Luke Kendall with one of the Unified ICs. One of the things we wanted to talk about today, and you guys heard it over and over, is safety. You guys have done an excellent job so far on this fire. As you can see, all the black line that's on this map, it's all because of the work that you guys are doing each and every day. The folks out here in this community really appreciate that. The bottom line with this is we all have to come home safe today, okay? You've heard everybody talk about the weather. You've heard about the transitions, all that stuff. You've heard IMET talk. You've heard safety talk. The bottom line is everybody's got to come home tonight safely. So you guys go out there, do your part, and assure that you come home safe. Thank you.
Next operational briefing tomorrow morning, 0700. Your breakouts are along the perimeter of the briefing area. Unassigned resources tie in with resources at the back table. Thank you and have a safe shift.